Coming up in this edition, Japanese State Minister visits IOM's Disaster Risk Management Project at 6 Mile. Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs engages Laka and Number 2 River communities on tourism development. And National Concern for Development Sierra Leone concludes public awareness raising on the free education package in 5 districts. All these stories and more lined up in tonight's edition of News Hour. The Japanese State Minister has visited the International Organization for Migration's Disaster Risk Management Project at 6 Mile in the Western Rural District. The visit was to get the Envoy First-Hand project supported by Japan through the Office of National Security, ONS. Suriba Samura reports.
Management is key in ensuring the safety of human beings the world all over. Sierra Leone has been experiencing disasters, most notably are the flooding and the mudslide of August 14, 2017, which claimed many lives and destroyed properties worth billions of leones. This is why the Japanese government, through the International Organization for Migration, IOM, funded the Engaging Diaspora to Strengthening the Health, Flood Prevention and Agriculture Sector in Sierra Leone project. The visits to Sierra Leone of the Japanese State Minister Hideki Makihara came after the International Organization for Migration had implemented 2 projects for survivors of the September 16, 2016 flood disaster, which took place in Freetown. The project coordinator of IOM's Disaster Risk Management, Yuki Daizimoto, briefed the visiting Japanese State Minister and other officials of the Japanese consulate in Sierra Leone that the People's Republic of Japan aided the construction of a water purification facility and some solar lanterns to the flood survivors.
Our project is called Project for Strengthening Disaster Preparedness, Response and Community Resilience in Sierra Leone. And this project was funded by the Japanese government.
Some of the survivors demonstrated before the Japanese State Minister on how to decontaminate unsafe water with the skills taught them by IOM. The Managing Director of International Organization for Migration Sierra Leone, Alhaji Sanusi Savage, acknowledged the efforts made by the Japanese people in providing funds to IOM for the implementation of the 2 projects through the Office of National Security, ONS. The Director of Disaster Management at the Office of National Security, John Rogers, lauded Japan for standing by Sierra Leone in time of need. In another development, the Japanese State Minister, Hideki Makihara, visited the warehouse constructed by the Organization of International Migration with support from Japan for disaster preparedness, response and resilience in Sierra Leone.
We can share our experience regarding disaster prevention or child care or many other things. So I'm in charge of Sierra Leone as a member of Congress. So I would like to continue this support, to build a better relationship between Japan and Sierra Leone.
Mr. Makihara acknowledged the strides made by the IOM Sierra Leone Country Office in the areas of disaster management and health. The International Organization for Migration Country Office in Sierra Leone is one amongst over 150 IOM country offices globally. Suriba Samura, SLBC News, Freetown.
Many thanks to Suriba Samura for filing in that report. Well, President Julius Maada Bio has held talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing. The 2 leaders agreed to further promote the comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership. President Bio is on a state visit to China and will attend the 2018 Beijing Summit of the China-Africa Cooperation. SLBC brings you this report with images by China Global Television.
This is the first state visit of Sierra Leone's President Julius Maada Bio to the People's Republic of China on the invitation of his colleague President Xi Jinping. Barely 5 months since he was elected as president and took up the country's mantle of power, Mr. Bio has focused his attention on East Asia to sell his political new direction agenda and lure possible investors. Strengthening Sierra Leone's existing bilateral and multilateral relations and establishing new ties to the outside world is now the task of President Julius Maada Bio's government. Sierra Leone currently needs huge investments to create employment for the high rate of jobless youths and build up the economy. It is against this aim that President Julius Maada Bio and his entourage have gone to China to execute exactly and see how China could come in. Chinese President Xi Jinping has said that since the establishment of diplomatic relations 47 years ago, China and Sierra Leone have always been good friends who have stood the test of time. He recalled that the two countries' joint fight against the unprecedented Ebola epidemic has become well known throughout the international community. The Chinese president expressed gratitude to Sierra Leone as one of the countries supporting the People's Republic of China in restoring its lawful seat in the United Nations. He said China highly appreciates President Bio's long-time adherence to the One China principle. Xi Jinping informed his colleague President Bio that China will never forget old friends, stressing that developing solidarity and cooperation with African countries has always been an important basis of China's foreign policy. The Chinese president also assured him that such a policy will not change because of China's own development and its rising international status, noting that China respects the independent decision of the Sierra Leone people. President Xi expressed his willingness to facilitate mutual high-level exchanges, strengthen communication in governance experience, and expand cooperation in infrastructure, agriculture and fisheries, healthcare, education, and security capacity building. The Chinese president also called on the two countries to continue their mutual support on multilateral occasions and promote a stable and further development of the bilateral relations already in existence. In a similar move, President Julius Maada Bio said Sierra Leone's relationship with China has withstood time and enjoyed a solid foundation. He noted that China has provided valuable assistance to Sierra Leone's socio-economic development, stressing that the country's people will never forget the fact that it was China that took the lead in providing assistance during their most difficult time in combating Ebola. The president expressed Sierra Leone's willingness to learn from China's development experience, promote bilateral ties, actively participate in the Belt and Road construction, and deepen cooperation with China in various fields. President Bio affirmed his country's commitment in enhancing communication and coordination with China in multilateral affairs so as to safeguard the legitimate rights of African countries. The two presidents witnessed the signing of some cooperation documents.
That was the President Julius Maada Bio in a state visit to the capital of China, Beijing. The Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, Madam Memunatu Pratt, has engaged youths and other stakeholders in the Laka and the Number 2 River communities on the way forward to develop tourism in the country. Madam Pratt said the government's vision is to see tourism become the breadbasket of the country. Joseph Touré filed in this report.
Tourism is one of the sectors that can boost any country's economy, and Sierra Leone is no exception. Over the years, major focus has been on the mining and other sectors for revenue generation and creating employment. According to the Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, Madam Memunatu Pratt, cleaning of our beaches is a big component of tourism as it creates a conducive environment which attracts tourists. She disclosed the new plan to change the face of our beaches by beautifying them and replacing them with decent structures that are of international standards. She said they will use tourism to create jobs, especially for the youths, and even those youths without skills will be capacitated so that they will be self-reliant. Madam Pratt noted that the new direction cares for them and will bring change with a human face. At the No. 2 River community, the minister was moved by some of the challenges the beach is faced with, including poor drainage system. She emphasized on the need to develop and maintain the beach so that it will reflect the good name it has abroad. The Deputy Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, William Robinson, said that as a government, their aim is to see the youth cease to be dependent on people. He noted that it is time to capacitate them so that they can earn a living.
Many thanks to Joseph Toure for putting that report together. Two people who claim to be surveyors of the Ministry of Lands, Country Planning and the Environment have been arrested for allegedly signing land documents for hectares of land around Freetown. They were arrested by the New England police after a tip-off that some unscrupulous people were impersonating senior officials of the Lands Ministry by selling state land. Judge Lewis went to the New England police station and spoke to the Minister of Lands, Dr. Dennis Sandhi, and the officer in charge of the New England police station, Superintendent of Police, Alhaji Bangura.
This is very simple. 2 days ago, we just came from Brereton, where we did an extensive field activity. So we came back very tired. And then all of a sudden, I just, had an information from the Acting Special Director of Surveys and Lands, Mr. Sam McGanova, that somebody has in fact attempted to forge his own signature. So he wasted no time but to bring the matter to the attention of the officer in charge here at the New England police station. So that is how everything started. So he was of course arrested, locked up, and of course he has been interrogated since then by the police. So all what we are saying is that this is a very strong message from the Ministry of Lands, that we are coming after people still forging and backdating the signatures of not only the Director of Surveys and Lands, but even the ministers and past directors. So we know them and we are going to catch up with them very soon. So please, if you know you're in that habit and you're working in consonance with land grabbers, just know that your days are over, because we'll pursue you and we'll get at you. And when we get you, be rest assured that you spend the maximum days of your life in prison, not less than 10 good years. And we are going to strongly advocate to the judge to give you the maximum of the sentences to ensure that yes, people should stop doing such practices. Because at the end of the day, it affects the image and hard-won reputation of the Ministry of Lands, and we are now working under the new direction. All old things have passed away. We need to work in the best interest of the people of this country. This is why I'm here with the presence of my Deputy Minister, Mr. Rex Bonafa, because we are always together, and we know that yes, with such a very strong teamwork, nobody is going to penetrate us. So this is the best.
Which is the crime more?
We have a moral guarantee and responsibility to ensure that those that are found culpable are arrested. And this guy has been arrested for forgery. He's being investigated, which is accomplished, and we will go to the depths of this matter in order to ensure that people do not traverse the dictates of the law. So we are here collaborating with every ministry, every agencies and department to ensure that we maintain good order and discipline within our society. This is absolute lawlessness, criminality of the highest order. So those who perpetrate it, we are here to ensure that they face the gallows.
That was Judge Lewis in that report. The Ministries of Planning and Economic Development and Finance have continued with their nationwide consultation with MDAs, civil societies and NGOs on the preparation of Sierra Leone's new National Development Plan. Joseph Toure witnessed one of the sessions held at the Moyamba District Council Hall.
Whenever poverty strategy papers are developed, it started with the Interim Poverty Strategy Paper, PRSP-1, PRSP-2, which was referred to as the Agenda for Change, and the PRSP-3, known as the Agenda for Prosperity, and now the PRSP-4, which is going to be the National Development Plan for the next 5 years. PRSP-3, which is the Agenda for Prosperity, ends in December 2018. The new direction has its own priorities, and the National Development Plan has to be aligned with these priorities. Ministry of Planning and Economic Development has embarked on this nationwide consultation to get input from the public so that at the end of the process, the National Development Plan will be a nationally owned document. According to Senior Economist Planning and Economic Development Eugene Sawyer, the consultations would enable citizens make inputs based on their different needs in the various districts for proper allocation of resources for development programs and projects. He noted that though the process is difficult, they will ensure that every part of the country participates in the process as it aims at giving power back to the people. He highlighted that the planning process focuses on 8 clusters, and these include education for development, human development, transforming the economy, and governance for accountability. Participants at this session appreciated the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development for the initiative as the National Development Plan is country-owned.
With my years of experience, I've heard about PRSP, Agenda for Prosperity, Class Government. My only fear is when you put all these things together for the past years as a teacher or even in the community, everything has been on paper. We did not see the impact of this agenda for prosperity on people.
This is a nationwide consultation in which ministry officials are deployed in every district to seek views on the PRSP4 preparation.
The government of Japan has pledged to provide assistance for the expansion of the All-Adurant Children's Hospital. The Japanese State Minister of Health Hideki Makihara made this pledge during a visit to the All-Adurant Children's Hospital. Mayuni Mansuri filed in this report. The Japanese State Minister of Health Hideki Makihara said this is his first mission to Africa and that he is pleased that Sierra Leone is among the first countries he has visited. He said that his government considers children of any country as crucial to the future, the reason why they have opted to support the expansion of the All-Adurant Children's Hospital.
So with our help, more babies' life will be saved. We'd like to assist.
The acting Minister of Health and Sanitation, Ambassador Fode Yomkela, said the visit of the State Minister of Health is timely. He thanked the Japanese government for development assistance to Sierra Leone.
And the 3 areas that I would really like to thank the ministers in Japan is in the area of capacity building for the Ministry of Health. I know over the years you have been training quite a substantial number of health workers, doctors, ranging from doctors to nurses and nutritionists. And I think we want to thank you for this, and we know you are building our capacity.
Dr. Aishatu Mustafa, Medical Superintendent, All-Adurant Children's Hospital, who led the tour around the hospital, appreciated the visit of the Japanese Health Minister to the hospital and thanked the Japanese government for supporting development programs in the country. Well, the Sierra Leone Roads Authority had stopped vehicles from using the Hastings Bridge as its structural integrity has been compromised. The bridge, which was built by the British during the colonial era, was the only alternative route for vehicles that didn't want to use the Hastings toll gate. Well, in order to complement Sierra Leone Roads Authority, the Sierra Leone police also erected a checkpoint to enforce the ban. In this interview with Asmi Uba, the Director General of Sierra Leone Roads Authority, Memuna Kumbajalo, spoke more about the condition of the bridge.
I was surprised because when we visited it like a month ago, from what I saw 1 year from now, before we started the tour, when we were trying to source out alternative routes, what I saw last time we went there, like I said, about 2 weeks ago, it has completely failed because I think over this period, it has actually received some unprecedented loading that it was not able to cope.
So has the bridge outlived its usefulness from your engineering point of view?
It has, because like I said, those bridges were built in the colonial days, although the technology used at that time, those time was really robust, but it's a 40-ton bridge, and because we have these heavy trucks trying to bypass the toll since the concessionaire is imposing this thing on vehicle actual checks, so they are passing the toll and they are using the bridge, and the bridge is a 40-ton bridge, and we are seeing some articulated trucks, heavy carrying containers using the road, so the bridge has actually given up because when we check, it's a 3-span bridge, and one of the piers, the one closer to the village, the Essence village, is the one that actually share and just gave way. If I can take you back like when you build your house, that's a simple example. You do your foundation, and then you have the columns so to support your beam before you can do your slab. If you are doing a 2-story house, that's the same concept we use when we do our bridges. So if the foundation is gone, cannot withhold the slab anymore, it means you don't have anything to do but to just do the whole structure again.
What about those who live in the community who are using smaller vehicles? They are also complaining that the route they normally use has also been blocked.
Well, we tried to put those New Jersey carbons. I noticed they left a small section just to restrict the width so the bigger vehicles cannot use, but I think lighter vans can be able to use the other end of the section that we left open.
That's the only alternative route that we had before this time, and now everybody's being forced to use the toll gates, and owners of heavier vehicles or trucks are complaining.
Well, that's the ultimate thing actually we want, because there is no hard and fast so that we should have an alternative route to a toll. But we tried to get one for them, but then it was misused. The reason why they are passing the toll is not because of the rates. They are passing the toll because they want to overload their
She is the Director General of Sierra Leone Roads Authority, Memuna Kumba Jallo. Since President Bio took over office in April this year and reintroduced Saturday cleaning exercise nationwide, different views have been given as to how this exercise has been going on. Afrian Philly spoke to the communications manager of civil society and service delivery, Moses Mambu, about preparedness for the cleaning.
The people of Sierra Leone will understand that there were some amounts of misunderstanding between the mayor, the CA, Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Local Government. But thank God with our intervention, one of the things we noticed was that there was lack of communication. There was communication gap between the sector players within the cleaning in terms of allocation. You understand the difference between ward and zone, because what the Ministry of Finance sent was for ward, and what the plan talks about allocations per zone. We have 6 zones within the Western area. At the end of the day, even the build up to our final meeting yesterday, we held meeting with the deputy mayor in his office and his colleagues. The event out some of their concerns as a council and how that can be addressed. And praise be to God, at the final meeting yesterday at the conference hall of the Ministry of Local Government, the mayor was there, Yvonne Akisoya, our deputy was there, the finance officer of the council was there, the deputy CA was there, and all of us, the communication gap that was lacking in the previous cleanings were clarified by the Ministry of Local Government, and all of them understand. And they were saying that the council has been undermining the cleaning, and by the representation of the Freetown City Council at the highest level in that planning meeting yesterday, I think that trash was thrown away, and the mayor was in full gear. We want to say thanks to her worship, the mayor of Freetown City Council, and her entire councillors for giving building up the spirit again to join the cleaning, you understand, for this Saturday. So everything is set for the cleaning. I think monies have been disbursed. Everything is set for the cleaning. We are calling on Sierra Leoneans to come out in massive numbers to join the national cleaning, which starts from 6 to 12 in the afternoon.
He is Moses Mambo, Communication Manager of Civil Society on Service Delivery. Sierra Leone Standards Bureau has said that very soon it will introduce standardized measure cups in different markets all over the country for both solid and liquid commodities. For a long time, the Bureau has been struggling to bring to force the use of standardized measure cups. Sheila Reffel has been finding out.
It was established in 1996 to standardize products and commodities in the country. One of their mandates is to test products and commodities to ensure they meet the required standards and to establish as much laboratory as necessary in the performance of its functions. Regulating proper measures and weight is also part of the Bureau's responsibility, as that is what the Bureau is set to do few months from now. Executive Director of the Sierra Leone Standards Bureau, Engineer James Sayudumbuya, said the Bureau will soon put out standardized measure cups in different markets in order to have a uniform measurement. The items will include rice, flour, oil, palm oil and vegetables among others. The cups will be 500 grams and 1 kilogram.
It's 500 grams and we have 1 kilogram. So the 1 kilogram and the 500 grams, we have it. This, we have the physical features. You see the graduation. There is an arrow, the logo of the Standards Bureau, and one of the famous historic people. We have them in that.
The executive director said the Bureau has an office at the Queen Elizabeth II Quay where they inspect goods that are coming into the country.
We have an office at the Queen Elizabeth II Quay wherein we do carry out inspections on high-risk goods and the port of entries. We do most of these high-risk goods to ensure food safety. And these samples we collect at the Queen Elizabeth II Quay, we bring them to the laboratory, the food laboratory, to test and ascertain the suitability of the product.
Market women at the Congo markets gave their reaction to the introduction of the standardized measure cups.
We will be happy if the government brings out these cups, because even our neighboring countries are also using them in their marketplaces.
John Conte, Technical Manager Food and Nutrition at the Sierra Leone Standards Bureau, takes the SLBC team on a conducted tour.
Many thanks to Sheila Reffel for putting that report together. And now to end the news. Japanese State Minister has visited IOM's Disaster Risk Management project at 6 Mile. Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs has engaged Laka and number 2 river communities on tourism development. And National Concern for Development Sierra Leone has concluded public awareness raising on the free education package in 5 districts. And that's all we have time for in tonight's edition of News Hour. I've been Willimina Buku. Thanks for watching and thanks for your amazing company. Bye-bye.